007.
What's happening, everybody? It's your man, Dame DNYDC. You know what time it is. It's Monday night. Brand new episode, brand new guest joining me on the mic tonight. And, you know, we've spoken to, several different types of coaches, and we're really big here on To Myself about bringing you the best, coaching alternative styles and people that may be in your own backyard that you just never knew existed. Well, again, tonight we hope to be able to bring you such another fine, this sister is, she's on the ball, she's doing her thing. She's here in the DMV area. And I really wanted to take a moment to bring her to you because she's doing so much for so many others, in our community. I think that's huge. We sometimes we take for granted those who help to enrich the lives of so many others. And with that, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to bring, tonight's guest to the other mic. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to Miss Shikina Tellis. Shikina, how are you doing this evening, sis?
I am doing great. How are you, Damon?
I'm doing so well, and I mean I'm excited, and this that smile and that energy. I know it's a little nervous, but I love the energy that you bring, and it shows in your smile. But before we get into really, the work that you're doing as the founder of TWS Coaching and Consulting, I always like to start out by just taking a moment to find out who our guest is. And if you could, Shakina, just take a minute. Like, who is Shakina Tellis? Where's she from? Where she go to school at? What was her upbringing like? Like, give us a little background about yourself.
Sure, sure. So, as you said, my name is Shikina Tellis. I was actually born in Augusta, Georgia,
Okay.
and home is Aiken, South Carolina. So that's where
Oh,
I was raised. Went to high school
oh,
there, and so that's where I'm from. Small town, huge family, family members on my maternal side, of which I'm the eldest child,
okay.
and then I have several on my paternal side. So just a huge family, and so
Right.
very supportive.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Aiken. We used to have property down in Aiken when I was a young man, and I used to go to Aiken every summer. And you're right, it's such a small town. Right there, the connector, I forget the name of the bridge that leads right into Georgia. Yeah, and I remember, I'm a city kid, New York, and everything was over yonder. And I'm like, what the heck is over yonder? Like, we do blocks, we do avenues, everything was over yonder, and yonder was so far. I was just like, I wasn't built for the country life at the time, but a beautiful, beautiful place, beautiful city, beautiful area. So I see with that charm and that smile and upbringing, being so rooted, and it leads me to ask then, because you are into coaching and consulting, you know, did that come maybe stem from your background originally, why you wanted to get into it?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
You got some time, right?
yeah, I got time. We got time. This is all for you.
So I guess it's funny that you ask it in that way, because coaching actually came to me, I would say, as I'd left home. I'd completed 20 plus years of
Wow.
military service.
All right. Thank you for your service. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. And as I was wrapping up my military service, my active military service time, I was reflecting on kind of who am
Mm.
I,
Mhm.
after being in the military for so long? Who am I? And kind of how can I continue to serve? Because
Mhm.
for me, it's always about how can I serve? Yes, I served my country, but now I definitely want to continue to serve. And as I reflected on that, I looked at my the career that I was in, which was a logistician. So
Okay.
basically, we were in charge of making sure whether it was food, whether your pay, making sure your pay was correct. If you had contracting things, if you needed to get supplies here or there,
Right.
we did all that budgeting. That was what we did as logisticians, from a high level
Right.
view of that. And so I looked and I'm like, although it was very interesting, and I know that's something that I could do when I get out, as Reverend Howard Thurman said, that wasn't what made me come alive.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
so as I began to definitely look over, reflect over my career, my military career, and trying to figure out how can I continue to serve, the thing that I guess came up for me most was the time that I spent either with my peers, with my subordinates, and with my superiors. Just number one, checking in on them to see how they were doing,
Mm.
being fully present with them. You know,
Right.
that when I
Right.
was trying to see how they were doing,
Right.
and if I noticed they were having challenges, just being able to just to kind of be there, whole space for them,
Right.
allow them to kind of share what was going on. Definitely praying for them, but then
Right.
also coming back, it's kind of like an accountability partner and following
Yeah.
up with them to kind of see, hey, how are you doing, and how can I help?
Mm.
And
Mhm.
and for me, that was what came up. And at the time
Right.
when that came up, I'm like, okay, I don't know what I do with this. Now that I know that that's what makes me come alive.
Right.
And as I started to doing my research, that's when I came across coaching.
Well, it has to take a lot, because you as a coach, and like I said, and I love the piece because I understand the piece and I connect with you on the piece of serving, right, and wanting to serve for others. But I know sometimes it gets really heavy, for you as the coach. And I know for me sometimes, I have a good sounding board, and I have good people around me to help let me vent sometimes. But like, what do you do in times where after a while, the receiver after a while gets overloaded, the cup gets overloaded? What do you do in those moments or times when you feel like, you're getting overloaded and you need someone to help serve you?
Mhm. Yeah, I would definitely say that care, I call it soul care. That soul
Mm.
care, a lot of folks will call it self care, but doing that routine soul care,
Hmm.
helps. So I know for me, a crucial part of my day is getting up and spending that quiet time with the Creator,
Mm.
spending that time with
Okay.
God.
Okay.
Getting that, having Him tell me, hey, this is what's on the agenda for today. Yes, I know you have your calendar, you have everything that's scheduled, but this is what I need you to pay attention to, or this is
Mm.
where I am in this. So for me, a
Mm.
crucial point of that is taking that quality time, that quiet time, and spending time with God.
Love
Of
that.
course, after that, definitely beginning to listen, to become aware of what I'm thinking,
Mm.
how I'm feeling, how I'm
Yeah.
responding to others.
Yeah.
Um, and I would say also just taking time to reflect, not just one day, but every day. And sometimes for me, that leads to journaling.
Mm.
Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's just me noticing it and just being aware of it.
Yeah.
So I definitely say being fully present, with myself first, being aware of what's going on with me, so that I then can, when I go to the coaching session, I can be fully present with my client.
And see that the reason why I ask because you need that, right? And so everybody does it differently. I'm more of a verbal, and sometimes, I say things out loud. Sometimes people are like, man, hey, what's wrong with this guy? But sometimes, you just get it out, right? But I think it's important because then, like you say, by you serving others and supporting others in your field, but as a coach though, then too, so now you're in touch and you're in tune. Now that you've kind of, relieved yourself and you've gotten tuned, got your day centered. But what is it then though too? Because there still has to be an inspiration, if you will, um, to want to continue to coach, right? Even because you're still going through your journey and you're unpacking yourself and everything. What is it most? What is it? I guess. What is it most about coaching that inspires you and to continue? With everything else, like you just talked about, unpacking for yourself so you can serve others.
Correct. And I like the way you asked that, because I'm going to circle back and then I'm going to come back to your question.
Okay.
And just remembering that, when we go into the arena of coaching, the goal is
Hmm.
for you to come there ready for the client,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, the coach is not the one who's really doing the work.
Good point. Good
It's,
point.
the client, they're the one
Hmm.
who's doing the work. And in order for them to get the breakthroughs that they need, in order for them to move forward in whatever it is they're trying to accomplish,
Mm.
um, they really are the ones who have to do the work. And
Yeah.
so it shouldn't be as much of a weight on the coach,
Hmm.
if they are truly coaching and allowing the client to do the work that's needed in order to get them the breakthroughs they're seeking.
I love that. I so do. I mean, because you tied it all together, and it's so true. And I have to be honest, and I have to, and I'm just curious to know, because like when you're dealing, like if people, like you say, you have to prepare yourself, right, to come to be able to serve and be able to inspire others. But then we have some people who are just not really. They say they're ready, right, but they may not be ready. So how do you like work with that, or work with that person, to help kind of get them, I don't know, maybe to open up, share aspects of whatever it is that they may need to share for you to be able to help them. Like, how do you work with that in situations that maybe you've dealt with so far?
Okay. And I would say definitely, of course, each person is different,
Mm-hmm.
but definitely allowing them the space that they need
Mm,
in order. So sometimes it may be asking them thought provoking questions. They'll typically come to a session and they may say, "This is what I want to talk about." This is, the first thing they'll say they want to talk about. But as you're listening to them unpack what they want to talk about, you may hear, as you're actively listening, patterns
mm,
or things that tell you there's something deeper. And
mm,
so you're going to let them talk, and you're going to work, you're going to ask them thought provoking questions in order to try to uncover what is the real issue. And they're the ones who realize what the issue is by you having that exchange with them. And sometimes
mm,
you're right, they're not ready. And
mm-hmm.
so it's important that as a coach, that they understand what their role is, just like the coach
Coach does.
understands what their role is.
And you led me really to where I wanted to go next, then, because there has to be a what's the word, I guess a natural high, right,
Hmm.
sometimes,
Yes.
when you see the impact, right, of your
Hmm.
work, and you see where, let's say, Damon started here,
Hmm.
and we got to here, and we unpacked this, and we got to that. I don't know if it's the mountaintop or the high point, or you got him, to the goal.
Hmm.
But how do you see, is there a story maybe you can share and talk about, how you see your impact when you're working with clients or individuals?
Sure. I guess I would say the one, of course, that stands out for me, I guess the most, definitely when you're working with a client, a lot of times you will see, we call them shifts or
Mm,
ahas. They'll have an aha
mm,
moment.
uh-huh,
And sometimes it's not them getting to the goal, but sometimes it's just them realizing, there's some shift that have taken place mentally with them, sometimes
mm-hmm,
spiritually, in the course of your conversation. And when you see those happen, to me, that's what you ask, what keeps me coming back. That's what keeps me coming back is them doing the work, seeing the shifts happen. And then ultimately, as they're seeing the shifts and learning what those deeper challenges are they're experiencing, seeing that ultimately leads to them accomplishing the goals that they're seeking.
I mean, look, if you all, if you're watching this or you're listening to this, I hope you really, paying attention, because we're talking with someone, in Shikina, who, what I like the most that I've been hearing so far is the time, one, that she spends with herself, because I think it's important that, and tell me if I'm wrong, if anyone is looking for a coach, or a consultant, that one is kind of centered within themselves and has themselves put together. Because I'll be honest, if I come in and you look a little frantic, it's not gonna make me feel too comfortable.
True.
But to, just being honest, right? But to be centered within yourself, that really helps you to be able to really take hold and listen in on what that person, what the goal is, that why you both are there. And I think that's important, to make your client feel comfortable. When I'm looking in the mirror
Yes.
and I feel stability. And we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to step away for a second, but we're going to come back. I'm leading up because I really want to now talk about your services. I think we did a great job of unpeeling, who you are, and how you've gotten so far to where you are. But now, for those who are listening and maybe looking, because what we really wanted for y'all to go out and, go out and support Shakina and her, TWS coaching and consulting, and we're going to talk about her services when we come back, out of the break. So don't go anywhere. Shout out to our sponsors, and we'll see you on the other side of the break. right, everybody, we're back, fresh out the break. I'm your man, Dave DNYDC, and tonight joining me on the mic is the amazing Shikina Tellis, founder of TWS Coaching and Consulting Group. You know, now before we came out of the break, we were talking about Shikina and her amazing background. We thank you for your service once again, but I want to transition now and really focus in on your services, with TWS coaching and consulting. Like, what would a typical day, let's say, if I reached out, you kind of went through some booking scheduling, what does, like, some of your services look like, if I'm a new client?
So I would say the major one that I focus on, because it's definitely umbrella, TWS
Okay.
coaching and consulting. And
Okay.
I guess my primary focus right now, I am a solopreneur,
Mm-hmm.
is the coaching piece. And so it would either be life coaching, and with
Mm.
the life coaching, of course, it's up to the client, but typically offering either a sample session. So they actually, if they're not familiar with coaching and they just want to see what it's about, that's an avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they've had coaching and they want coaching, and they want to see, hey, are we a right fit? Because just like they
Mm.
want to know if it's a right fit, if our relationship is a right fit. I, as the coach, want to make sure that it's a right fit as well, because I definitely want it to be a good situation for them. So definitely then doing that discovery session, so that they learn a little about me, a little about my philosophy, what my role would be to help them, and
Mm.
then to learn a little about them as well, and see if we are a right fit in that discovery session. And from the discovery session, then definitely try to get them for some sessions of life coaching.
So I have to ask too, because you speak about
Sure.
like, and I don't mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry, but I'm thinking about like now, like with life coaching.
Mhm.
Um, like, have you found or have you experienced? Because I know for me coming out of the pandemic, let's say, life's a little different. And have you found yourself maybe dealing with people a little bit more, kind of, I don't want to say soul searching, but kind of trying to search to kind of, I don't know if they re-identify themselves with something or try to identify themselves with getting on a path to something. Have you found that to be more so maybe now after the pandemic than prior?
And so I'll say for me, so before the pandemic, I wasn't coaching, so I can't really speak like
Okay.
before the pandemic.
Okay.
So I can speak for what I see afterwards, and I can definitely say that you can see some. How would I say it? There may be some aspects, or things that may come up that
Hmm.
leads back to the pandemic and its impact on clients, and basically causing them to either try to figure out, well, who am I after this, or
Mm.
what happened during the pandemic and
Yeah.
it's the impact that they're dealing with right now in their day-to-day lives,
Mm.
how they see it. So that I would say yes, you can see that.
And then also too, like you said, because you have the whole umbrella, even with that, like, I want you to talk too, like on the financial piece, and you're also a motivational speaker as well, or consultant or speaker, I should say speaker. So like, look, because I don't want to leave no hat unturned for you. Says I, talk about it. I want everybody to understand your full umbrella.
No, no, that's a great question. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, so talked about the coaching, of course, and also I know I've talked about individual coaching. I
Mm-hmm.
also do couples coaching with
Oh,
couples.
okay.
I'm a prepare and enrich facilitator,
Oh,
and so I
mm,
do work with couples, either those that are seriously dating, those that are they're doing premarital, or those
okay.
that the enrichment piece is those that have been married and they just want some tools for their toolbox, just
Mm.
to strengthen their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely have that under the life coaching umbrella. And then under the financial education consulting, I actually partner with Dr. Lynn Richardson. I know you probably see her on
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I actually partner with her for that. And so we would
Awesome.
definitely, each person is different, kind of sit down and see kind of where they're going financially, who they are, what's
Mm-hmm.
important to them,
Mm-hmm.
and then figuring out how we can either provide them some of the tools that Dr. Lynn
Mm-hmm.
already has,
Mm-hmm.
or just talking through, what their financial journey could possibly look
Mm.
like.
And that's huge
And
too.
yes,
Mhm.
it is, especially,
Yeah.
especially like you said, after the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, so we definitely looking at that. And
Mhm.
then under the motivational speaking piece, I haven't done a lot with it as far as TWS coaching and consulting group is
Mhm.
concerned, But I have held a few workshops. In fact, I have one coming up in October at my church. So I
Okay.
attend the district church. Um, and,
Love it.
and so I definitely have done a few workshops.
And that's important too. I think it's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, I've been working and designing and doing different things and talking with some folks in the church. Because I think it's important. Our youth and our young adults really figure out and have the tools to be able to advance. Because as much as we want to say we're not in a recession, but things have definitely gotten more difficult. And our young people and even some of our older people just don't have the tools needed to be able to progress, whether it be in their current job situation, like you said, becoming a solopreneur, figuring out ways to make money or additional income. So it's really important. And I like to say, because I think the church is still one of the biggest pieces of our community, where you should really, I guess, if you will, sow your seeds to really help others. And as a person who's a giver, and I, like I said, I resonate with that. And I, on the same path. I guess great minds sometimes do think alike. And but anybody, because you're in Maryland, correct?
Yes, yes, I
And look,
am.
if you're in the Maryland area, man, reach out to Shikina, because I mean, just hearing that, these are opportunities that you can really use to take advantage of. These tools are, you know, like I said, I love doing this platform because we have so many people like yourself in our own backyard that we just don't know that these things are happening. People are like, well, oh man, I wish I would have known. I wish I could have gone. Well, we're giving it to you. Reach out to her, use her tools. And I wanna I wanna ask her off the beaten path question, as I get off my soapbox. Being a motivational speaker and being a giver, if I were to give you the opportunity, let's just say, I'm gonna give you a worldwide billboard to write a message. Yeah, right? This is
Okay.
worldwide. I know it's off the beaten path, but you know, what message would you really like to convey to others as a consultant or a coach or as a speaker to the world on this message board?
Oh, wow, that's a very, very good one. That's a very good one. And I guess I definitely will go back to kind of where I am in life right now, and
Hmm.
also thinking that a lot of other people may be here as well as we're trying to catch our breath.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know the pandemic is past, but the impacts are still being felt,
Yeah.
and especially as the cases are rising again. But definitely for me, it will be just slowing
Hmm.
in a season of slowing, just slowing down,
Wow.
and then ruthlessly eliminate overextending yourself.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that is so. Just in the simplicity of it, it's powerful. Because I have to agree with you. We get caught up in this rat race, right, with a hamster on the wheel, and so many of us feel like if we slow down, we're missing out on something. But sometimes taking that pause or that tick, just that little tick in time, can sometimes help like refocus, recenter. And something, and it's so much. It's funny. It's something I had posted today. Just take. Sometimes it's okay to just reset, refocus, readjust yourself, and then restart. You know, because you're not quitting, right? And it's all about not quitting. But sometimes that tick can mean all the difference in the world of how you move forward. Now, that was a very powerful statement. I mean, I really like that. And I mean, time goes by so fast. We're coming to the almost to the close of this amazing conversation, and I want to allow you, a few minutes, Shakina. Like, one is there, take a moment. Is there anything else that you're working on? Uh, that you did not, we did not talk about that you want to share? Because I see you smiling, so it must be something else. So take a moment to share that, and also share your social media, or where we can find you. Because I want our audience to really go out and support the work that you're doing.
Mhm. Thank you, thank you. So I guess I would say the only thing that I'm working on, and I kind of briefly mentioned it, was the I have a women's empowerment workshop coming up, and that's on
Wow.
October the 7th.
Okay.
And I'll be, if you're in DC or in your Maryland or Northern Virginia, it'll be held at the District Church, their ministry center, which is in Brooklyn. And so that's definitely a place for professional women. If you want to get some empowerment, we're going to talk about self awareness. We're going to talk about shifting your mindset. We're going to talk about finding harmony in your personal and your professional life.
All right.
So if that's something that you're interested in, please come out. I'll share that on my social media. And my social media, Facebook is Shikina Tellis 6. And then on Instagram, Shikina underscore Tellis.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, I will make sure that we put that information in the show notes to make sure you can go ahead and access and reach Shakina. And please do me a favor. When you get that flyer and you have that information, please, let us have it. We'll be happy to go ahead and share it as well on our social media because it's really important that like I said, the work that you're doing is incredible. It's amazing. You are a blessing. Thank you so much. And I want others in our community to be able to come out and take part. And hopefully, if I have time in my schedule, I would just like to show up and just hang out, just to be a part and be in your presence. It's amazing work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Damon.
Oh, it's my honor, my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. So there you have it. Two mics up, man. Another great episode with the awesome Shikina Tellis, founder of TWS Coaching and Consulting Group. Make sure you stay tuned and look out for all of the information that we're going to share about her upcoming, speaking at the church in Brooklyn, right in
Hmm.
DC.
Hmm.
So we're going to make sure we get all of that out. Season 5, ladies and gentlemen, two mics up. We still rolling along. We are coming to the end of this season. It's been a blast. So many great conversations, so many great episodes. Make sure you follow Two Mics Up, on social media, IG, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Two Mics Up, as you can see on the scroll. If you feel like you want to be bothered with me, you want to catch up with me, hang out with me, whatever, you can catch me on social media too, IG, Facebook, and Twitter, or X as they called it now, at Dame DNYDC. And Monday nights, Mogul Media TV, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch all the latest episodes. You can catch playbacks all week long, season 5, season 4. And if you feel like you want to go back further, you can catch us on our YouTube channel. We still putting them out there too. So make sure you follow along and go tell a friend. We really appreciate, you following the show. And like we do at this time, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to actually do a couple of things. Stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out.